Is it working? I think it's working. Okay, let's go. First of all, let's talk about Disney.
Hey, do you want to come inside my clubhouse?
No, God! I finally subscribed to Disney Plus. There is a lot of content that is gonna be released on Disney Plus that I'm quite interested in. We've got Loki that I'm interested in. We've got What If. What If is gonna be animated, and I really hope that they experiment when it comes to the animation itself. Kind of like when it comes to Netflix, Death, Love and Robots. I want each episode to have its own maybe director, to have its own different style. But I'm not 100% sure that Disney will do that because they like to cash in on simple, straightforward stuff. There is a series about Moon Knight which is coming out, one about Iron Heart. I find that pretty interesting. I think it's definitely gonna give a lot of fresh content when it comes to the Iron Man character. Even though I really love Robert Downey Jr., I feel like we've been stuck with him for more than 10 years. And I think Iron Heart will definitely bring something new to the table, and it's quite interesting. When it comes to the films that are going to be released, it's mostly animated films that interest me. So we've got Luca. Luca is going to be set in Italy. And from the images, it really looks like an anime version of Italy. It almost reminded me of Miyazaki Porco Rosso. And I'm not 100% sure that I'm into it, but I will wait until the film comes out and then actually see it to actually say something critical about it. The next one is Encanto, which is going to be taking place in Colombia. I'm interested in it mostly because it's going to be very bright and colorful, like Coco was. And the next one is going to be Raya and the Last Dragon, which is coming out in March. That's definitely one of the films that I'm waiting the most. I'm actually going to be releasing a video about it just before it gets released. Other news when it comes to Disney Plus, they said they were gonna rise the prices by $1.
Give me your money, punk.
Oh my God, it was you!
In the month of March.
While I'm waiting for your fucking response, are you just not gonna say anything, dumbass?
Honestly, I don't think it's a really great idea, mostly because Disney Plus, for now anyways, they're just delivering when it comes to the nostalgia, especially when it comes to Disney Channel films like Lizzie McGuire's. If they rise the price too much, I feel like I'm definitely gonna be unsubscribing because it's just not gonna be worth it anymore, especially when you compare it to Netflix or Apple TV or Amazon, where you get so much more content. Transition. Next topic is going to be the Oscars and the Golden Globes. Will I be releasing any content about the Oscars? My short answer is no. My long answer is no, because I honestly don't care. Every single year it's the same thing over and over again. It's just a bunch of celebrities patting each other on the back and rewarding films that have already a lot of stars behind it, a lot of marketing material, so they're not even promoting the works of new directors. So honestly, I don't want to give it any more importance than it actually has.
The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats. But no one saw that.
This note is completely packed with films. We're definitely going to be getting a lot of blockbusters, most of the ones that were supposed to be released last year. A Quiet Place Part 2. I still remember, I think, seeing the posters around Paris around March. It's insane to think that it got delayed by almost a year, but it's coming out in April, if I'm not mistaken. Black Widow is finally coming out as well soon. Free Guy was delayed by a year as well. Spiral is another film on the in the Jigsaw Soul franchise. The poster looks really cool, but I'm still skeptical about it, mostly because it's gonna be directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, and even though he's made, I would say, most of the good Saw films, he's made a lot of stinkers as well, a lot of really bad films. The Conjuring Part 3 is coming out. I'm gonna put the posters here, which looks like shit. And I don't know whether it's gonna be good or not because James Wan has stepped down from the directing chair. But the first and the second one are really good, so I'll still give it a chance. Godzilla vs. Kong coming out. I don't really care about it, especially since I didn't enjoy Kong Skull Island. For me, Peter Jackson King Kong was the most beautiful version of King Kong ever made. So I will watch it, but I will definitely not enjoy it. We've got Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is yet another reboot slash sequel. We don't really know. F9. I really don't care about the Fast and Furious franchise unless they go to space. We've got No Time to Die. which is the last James Bond film with Daniel Craig. I'm really happy that he's stepping down because honestly he looks really bored. He's been looking bored for at least in Spectre. In Skyfall he was still delivering when it comes to the performance, but when you see what he managed to deliver when it comes to Knives Out, for example, I think he really needs to get rid of those franchises and go into more original content. West Side Story is coming out. I don't give a shit about that. Halloween Kills is coming out as well, and I feel like it's gonna be bad, mostly because the reboot or the sequel to the first one, which came out a couple of years ago, was just very bland. There's a new Minions film coming out. Fuck that, I don't give a shit about that. Oh, the sequel to Venom is coming out, Let There Be Carnage. That's gonna be insane. But I really hope that they get an R rating for this time, mostly because the CGI in the first film looked really squishy and weird. He made Venom look threatening in some forms, and in other forms it just made him look like just a puddle of goo. Uncharted, which is coming out as well, starring our favorite boy, what's his name? Oh, Tom Holland. Okay, you could have given it to me. Why did you have me look at the script where you could have just whisper it to me? Ha, he's there, but he's not even helping. I'm not 100% sure it's gonna be good, mostly because even in the fourth game where we get to explore Nathan Drake's teenage years as a thief, it was interesting, but it was definitely not what fans like the most about the characters. So, and Tom Holland really doesn't look like sort of like a mature Nathan Drake, so I'm pretty sure that they're gonna go for the teenage years, so the first years of being a thief, and I'm not sure whether that's gonna be really interesting. And of course, the last thing on my list is Suicide. Oh, the Suicide Squad. Okay. I thought that was just an attempt on my life, but no, it wasn't. It's James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which looked insane from just the reveal of all the characters and the actors that are gonna be in it.
I don't think that you know what to expect.
The next category is going to be the unscheduled films that are going to come out next year. We've got Tomb Raider, the second one, starring Vikander. I liked the first one, and it was still pretty forgettable. I think the second film could be quite interesting, mostly because in the first film they had to introduce the new character and make us believe that she could be Lara Croft. And I think in the second one, with a strong script, it could be really, really cool. We've got Wes Anderson, The French Dispatch, which is supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out last year, but it still doesn't have a release date. Just by looking at the poster, I mean, I like everything that Wes Anderson makes. I think it's almost impossible not to appreciate his films, because they are, from a technical perspective and from a performance perspective, absolutely perfect. We've got Antlers coming out, which is a really fun looking horror film produced by Guillermo del Toro. La Transición.
So what you doing back here, Hotel Rwanda?
I'm back. Say it again.
I took the time to research a couple of original films that we're gonna be getting next year. Of course, when it comes to indie films and art house films, it's always impossible to know in advance if they're gonna come out or not, especially because they tend to go through the festival circuit, you know, and look for distributors. We've got Bios, which is coming out in April, and it's starring Tom Hanks in a post-apocalyptic world as the last man on Earth, and he shares the screen with a robot. We've got The Tomorrow War, which is yet another science fiction film starring Chris Pratt. This is literally the only picture available for the film. There is not even a poster, and it literally looks like The Expendables. So is it gonna be good?
What's the answer?
I don't know.
We've got Cherry, once again starring Tom Holland. Cherry is the new film directed by the Russo brothers. I have no idea what it is about, but the posters look pretty cool. The next interesting film that I'm going to be looking at is Malcolm and Mary. I think the trailers came out a couple of weeks ago, and just by the visual look of the film, I'm all in. The next category is going to be series, and mostly it's going to be series that I'm interested in. The new season of American Gods came out a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, I completely abandoned it in season 2, mostly because I read the book as well, and I could see that they were trying to drag the plot for as long as possible, and honestly, I don't have time for that. We've got the second part of The Walking Dead season 2. I think it's getting a couple of new episodes coming out end of February, and I'm actually preparing a video about that. if I'll have the time. They announced a really weird thing. Dexter is actually gonna be rebooted, or there is gonna be a series of new episodes that end up coming out this summer. We don't have a lot of news when it comes to the casting. We don't know whether they're gonna try to rewrite that awful ending that we got. We still have no dates for Ozark season 4, American Horror Story season 10, even though we've got a poster, Atlanta season 3, and What We Do in the Shadows season 3. And of course, Disenchantment, the new season or part, just came out, and I'm really excited to see it. Keeps sticking on my foot, Jesus. The next topic on my list is the Arles Photography Festival. It's one of the only few things that is not really cinema related, but I really hope that there is a new edition, mostly because one of the few places where photographers can hang out and sort of like share their love for contemporary photography and contemporary art. And the first week is just really beautiful. There are so many incredible events, and if you're a fan of photography just in general, I would recommend that you check it out. This one is more cinema related, you'll see. It's the Paris Comic Con. Last year it was cancelled, of course, unfortunately. As a fan of everything when it comes to comic books, mangas, animes and films, it's one of the few moments in the entire year where I get to feel welcome into a community of fellow nerds, and I really hope that they manage to organize it for 2021 for October. Why did you write everything in such a sad way? Couldn't you just drop a joke, like a fart joke, one or two, like in the middle of each sentence? No, you had to make it sad. Now I'm sad and I'm crying. The last point has to do with the film Dune, which was supposed to come out end of 2020, and it got rescheduled for 2021, for late 2021. I actually heard a couple of rumors of people saying that it might be pushed to 2022. Honestly, I'm 100% for it. I think it's one of those films like Blade Runner 2049, where they spent a lot of money on such a beautiful, almost art house, sci-fi, space opera.
One day, the legend will be born. All of civilization depends on it.
The future, I can see it.
And I want Denis Villeneuve to still get a chance to make those kind of weird films, and unfortunately Blade Runner 2049 was a flop at the box office, so...
Hey Clarissa, do you want to play Battleships? Oh my gosh!
Oh, hit.
Skag, you sank my destroyer!
If Dune doesn't make a lot of money, I think it's not gonna get a second part. It's not gonna get a second part, and maybe Denis Villeneuve will stop making these big budgets, beautiful films, and I think it's a bit of a shame. So for this year, my most important point will be make sure that you support cinemas when you can. Make sure to go as often as possible and support the films that you want to see more. These are all the things that I'm looking forward to for 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video and you marked down a couple of films that you were interested in by just looking at the image that I put here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you still haven't. Leave a like and a comment down below with the films that you're waiting for the most when it comes to 2021. I'm Patrick, and this is Torn Apart. You forgot to talk about Deadpool. What do you mean I forgot to talk about Deadpool? It's not in the script. If it's not in the script, I'm not gonna talk about it, okay? Can you fix it in post? Can you not like fix it in post or something like that? Like you usually do? Sure, I can do that.